Welcome to another edition of the Live Well and Fully podcast. Through this podcast, we help women remember that they matter too. We spark new insights on changes they might desire for in their own lives so they can step forward confidently and turn their dreams into reality.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Live Well and Fully. I'm Barbara Decker on the East Coast of the United States in Pennsylvania, and I'm here with Betsy Martellucci. Betsy is my own therapist and a person who has taught me most of what I know about this disease and who has helped me navigate through this with my younger son, Eric, and more recently, my older son, Evan. Without Betsy, I truly do not know where I would be. She also coaches my graduate students on codependency, and they are so blessed to have her insight. So we'll start in with 7 questions in 7 minutes, and you can have the wisdom that Betsy has to offer. So question number 1, Betsy, who do you serve?
So I serve right now in my role. I'm the clinical director of MARS, which is an outpatient treatment facility. So we serve anyone that needs an assessment or drug and alcohol treatment on an outpatient basis. I also provide services to people, for families who are struggling with family members who are struggling with a substance use disorder.
Gotcha. Question number 2, what is unique and special about your approach to diseases like addiction and mental illness?
I think what's unique about it, or maybe not as much unique as I would say, not as popular, is I see the disease first and foremost as a disease of the mind, as a disease of the way we think. And secondly, and most importantly, in my opinion, is it is a family disease. It is not an individual disease. So I think probably what sets the way I see it apart from many other people is I do not focus on the individual who's suffering from the SUD. I focus on the entire family unit, understanding that in order to really effectuate lasting change, you need to involve the people that are around that individual, who love that individual, and that this disease impacts and affects and influences all of the family members as well. So without including them, you have a much less likelihood of being able to help someone sustain recovery. And the family needs to be recovered, needs to be in recovery as opposed to just the individual.
If I had not worked with you and you had not worked with my approach to this disease, I think our family would be in a different place today.
And I think because so much of this disease goes against what we commonly understand of helping someone who's suffering from a disease. So much of this goes against our natural instincts. You know, when someone that we love is suffering from any other disease, we rush in to help. And any type of support, logistical, financial, emotional, physical support is welcomed and helpful. And in this disease, it's the opposite most of the time. Rushing in and providing aid, providing resources, providing food, money, time, really only helps progress the disease as opposed to really help the person understand that they need to step into recovery. So that's where that education piece and the treatment of the entire family is essential.
3, what one thing makes your approach effective? You've kind of answered that, but is there one specific thing you'd like to mention here?
I think what's most important to me is seeing individuals and families as unique and as deserving specialized attention. It is with the best of intentions. I think a lot of this field just kind of puts people through a mill of, this is the treatment, come in, sit down, let me educate you, let me give you this treatment. And it's a one size fits all. And I really do believe that we are all unique. We have similar characteristics if we suffer from the same disease, right? We have similar symptom sets, but the way in which you get to that and understanding the function and how this disease entered into our lives and what you need to do in order to have recovery and sustained recovery is different for each person. So I truly believe in respecting and celebrating the uniqueness of each individual and each family, and looking at it from their perspective and from their goal sets, as opposed to having these objective goals that I'm putting out for them.
Wow, that says it all. Thank you. Number 4, what is the most common mistake a family member makes when dealing with a loved one who has a substance use disorder or a mind disease of any kind?
It is the unknowingly taking away their loved one's sense of competency, by not believing in their ability to get well. Recovery is not only possible, it is likely and probable given the right circumstances. And if the individual wants to get better, they likely will. And we don't need to do anything other than get out of their way. So I think the biggest mistake that people make is they try to actively love their loved ones. So they do for them. They try and do the work for them. It's kind of the same. It's along the same lines as the benevolent mistakes that a lot of parents make when they're sitting with their children doing homework in elementary school. You want so much. You see your child being frustrated. You see your child trying so hard and they just can't get it. So you do it for them. You take it over for them in an effort to try and soothe them, in an effort to try and make it better. But what you're doing is undermining their ability to work through challenges themselves. The same goes for this. So we can have compassion and empathy for people that suffer from mental health disorders and from substance use disorders. But by taking the responsibility of getting well away from them, we are undermining their ability to live and thrive and be okay.
Yeah, I have to say that from everything I've seen, that's exactly true. I've never talked with anyone in this disease who felt good about themselves or felt confident. Maybe there are, but I haven't spoken with them while they're in the disease.
And there's an underlying fear because of the behaviors that they exhibit from their family members that they really aren't competent, that they can't do this on their own. So there is this overwhelming compulsion of family members to take over. Let me do the work for you. I'll go to the meetings with you. I'll do all the legwork for you, because there is a fear of them not being able to do it themselves. But that fear then becomes the reality. And so you have to understand that fear is not real. That fear is, you need to challenge that fear in order for them to step into their own competency.
Right. What is one tip a family member could use right now that would make them more effective when dealing with their loved one?
Connect to other people in the situation. There is so much power in connection and understanding being validated. There is so much power in listening to other people's stories and seeing yourself reflected in that, in learning lessons from hearing other people, listening and being a part of it. We are also social beings at a very primal level, and being able to feel connected and understood and heard and seen by one another is incredibly healing and helpful.
Thank you. I agree. Is there one valuable free resource you'd like people to have to go and get?
It's a great question. I think we all hold information in our pockets now. We hold computers in our pockets. So go up and search codependency, search substance use disorder as a disease. Look at SAMHSA has amazing free education and training and resources out there, where you can really get your feet into and start understanding this and educating yourself and finding what works for you. So there's lots of free things out there on the web that you can start educating yourself about.
Thank you. And number 7, Betsy, what should I have asked you that I didn't? And what's the answer to that question?
Whew. Number one thing that anyone should do who's either battling substance use disorder or loving someone who's battling a substance use disorder, show grace and compassion with yourself. Take some time and space to breathe in and understand that you're doing the best that you can, that you can't know what you don't know, that the search of information is arduous and challenging, but worthwhile. Give yourself grace and compassion. Give yourself the time and understanding rather than judging. We can either learn or we can shame. We cannot do both at the same time. So if you want to make a difference, learn by having grace and compassion with yourself rather than shame.
That's powerful. Thank you. And that's a wrap. And so I would like to thank you so much for being here with us today, Betsy. Your answers, as always, are illuminative and they just feel good. Talking to you just feels good. So the listeners, I hope you enjoyed this brief opportunity to chat with Betsy. And I hope you find a pocket of joy today because you are so worth it. Bye for now. Let's talk soon.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to be notified when new episodes are released. Then visit www.livewellandfully.com/workshop to experience the Love Another Way framework firsthand.